Hello and good day everyone, welcome back to the show. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Sean David. Let's talk some old school basketball. If we're talking about one of the most controversial NBA careers, we gotta talk about Kwame Brown, a guy that has a very bad reputation over the years, and I want to take a look in this video and see, was his career really that bad? But before we start with this video, if you like this video, don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Also click on the notifications button so you always get notified once I upload a new video. If you want to check out more videos and get access to exclusive videos, please check out my Patreon account. Your support is always very appreciated. And I would say, without any more blah blah, let's get right into today's episode.
He was the #1 overall pick in the draft by your Washington Wizards. Did you think at this stage there would be more progress?
Kwame Brown is just being a disaster out there.
Kwame Brown, arguably the biggest bust in NBA draft history.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
Reason with me on this. How in the hell you make a trade for Pau Gasol and Kwame Brown? That is just not fair.
Kwame Brown is gone. The City of Angels, Hollywood, just should be celebrated. Throw a parade already, whether you win a championship or not. He can't play. No disrespect whatsoever, but I'm sorry to tell everybody the truth. The man cannot play the game of basketball. He has small hands. He can't catch the ball. He's got bad feet. He can't really move, even though he's mobile. Doesn't really know what he's doing. Doesn't have a post move that he puts to memory that he can do 2 times in a row. He has no game whatsoever. Plays no defense. Doesn't have the heart, the passion, or anything that comes with it. And you're asking me whether they gave up too much? Please, the Los Angeles Lakers knew exactly what they were doing. They should be celebrating right now, and Kobe Bryant should not be saying a word.
Well, I want to start off this video by taking a look how Kwame actually made it to the NBA, because his road was definitely not easy, and this by itself was a success story. Kwame Brown was born on the 10th of March in 1982 in Charleston, South Carolina. He was one of 8 children, and his family was struggling day by day to get some food on the dinner table. In an interview with USA Today, Kwame talked about his childhood. Quote, "I think God works in mysterious ways. My life was so hard in the beginning. I was in and out of homeless shelters. I had to deal with an abusive father. He would abuse my mother. I had to deal with the police who would kick down our door because my brothers outside were selling drugs. My childhood was crazy." End of quote. Despite all that struggle and craziness, Kwame played high school ball at Glen Academy in Brunswick, Georgia. There he was putting up great numbers, averaging 20.1 points per game, 13.3 rebounds, 5.8 blocks, 3 assists, and 2 steals. He was considered to be the best high school player in the country and was voted High School Player of the Year in 2001. He then originally signed up a letter of intent to play for the University of Florida, but changed his mind and later declared for the 2001 NBA Draft.
With the first pick in the 2001 NBA Draft, the Washington Wizards select Kwame Brown from Glen Academy, Brunswick, Georgia. Georgia High School Player of the Year was Kwame Brown, averaged 20 points, 13 boards, 6 blocks. There are the comparisons, guys, to Kevin Garnett in the terms of athleticism, to Chris Webber for his low post game. And what a moment, here it is, for Kwame Brown. For the first time in NBA draft history, high school kid is #1 in the draft.
So when Kwame Brown was drafted by the Washington Wizards and Michael Jordan, it was sure that it's not going to be easy. The Wizards at that time were in a very strange position because on the one side they were a bad team for the last couple of years, but since Jordan had his comeback, people were expecting the Wizards to make the playoffs, so the Wizards had to be good right now.
And we'll get our first look at Kwame Brown since he injured his ankle in the season opener against New York.
Well, untimely injury for both he and the team.
He comes in for Jahidi. Only way to see MJ and the Wizards battle the best of the NBA is with the weekender plan. Hughes all the way. This is the shot. Kwame is there. Nesby brings it down court. Just off the hands. Saved in by Kwame. Hamilton with nowhere to go. Now finds Brown for the jumper. Kwame Brown, the rookie.
Well, that's the kind of play we're talking about. Intense, focused, and hungry for the basketball.
He could have let that ball go out of bounds, which is what Collins wanted him to do, but he was hustling so much for it that he went after it and got it. To Kwame in the lane to Laker. 19-year-old Brown.
Well, he sees that ball going out of bounds. It was last touched by the Warriors, but he hustles up and gets his nice soft jumper to go down.
Kwame Brown had a solid NBA debut, scoring 10 points and grabbing 5 rebounds against the Golden State Warriors. Unfortunately, this also would be his best game of the entire season. While he received 36 minutes against the Golden State Warriors, his minutes declined game by game, and at the end of the season he was only averaging 14 minutes a game, 4.5 points per game, as well as 3.5 rebounds. But in his second and third season, he not only increased his minutes, but also his points and rebounds per game. So in the 2004 season, he was almost averaging 11 points, 7.4 rebounds in 30 minutes. So decent stats. At that time, he was only 21 years old, so at an age where most NBA professionals enter the league. So we can say at that time, he still had the potential to become a good NBA player.
Kwame has to take the jumper, and it's off the glass! How do you like that?
Boy, Eddie Jordan was telling him to hold up, and Kwame pulls up and hits a bank shot. He'll take it.
Unfortunately, in the next season, he had a major injury, which limited him to only play 42 games, receiving less minutes, and therefore his stats declined. The next season, something happened that also wasn't too good for his career. He was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers in exchange for Paul Gasol, a trade that would haunt him for the rest of his career. Because not only would Paul Gasol turn into one of the best players of his generation, but also Kwame was suffering under the pressure to live up to his #1 draft pick status. So in his first years with the Los Angeles Lakers, he was averaging 7.4 points per game in 27 minutes, but still it was far away from expectations. The following season, Kwame got hurt again and basically had to sit out the half of the season. From that point onward, Kwame basically played hurt for the rest of his career. Still in the 2011 season, Kwame played for the Charlotte Bobcats, where he was averaging 8 points and 7 rebounds in only 26 minutes, and some games he really didn't look that bad. But of course, then it was way too late. He ended his career at the age of 30 with the Philadelphia 76ers, playing 22 games, only averaging 2 points at the young age of 30. At some point, it was obvious that Kwame Brown wouldn't have a great NBA career. But the thing that always bothered me a little was he really had to endure a lot. And yes, it's pretty common that if you are a celebrity or a professional athlete, that people make fun of you. But with Kwame, it seemed like the whole world was making fun of him.
Let's hit you with some basketball. In the meantime, lots of nervous NBA general managers out there because the 2011 Kwame Brown lottery is tonight, which will determine who is saddled with Kwame's perennially disappointing numbers and bad attitude next year. Of course, the Bobcats lost last year, forcing them to waste a roster spot that could have been used on a player who doesn't regard the game of basketball as beneath contempt.
The NBA's bottom 9 teams represented here tonight. And just moments ago, the deputy commissioner announced the final 3 teams in the running for Kwame.
Sacramento Kings.
The Kings.
Minnesota Timberwolves.
The Timberwolves.
Philadelphia 76ers.
And the 76ers.
Brutal news for those 3 teams. Wouldn't be surprised if the loser just folds up the franchise.
So how bad was Kwame Brown? To be honest, I think this question is a little bit more complex. Yes, he never should have been the #1 pick in 2001, but he didn't draft himself. Also, I don't think that he had the potential to be an NBA superstar. I still do think, though, that he had the potential to be a decent NBA player. And at some point, I believe that his confidence was so low that he just couldn't dig himself out of it. Many people say that he's the biggest bust in NBA history, which I totally disagree. I mean, there are guys like Michael Oliver Kennedy, Anthony Bennett, guys that nobody talks about anymore. But with Kwame, well, he was drafted by Michael Jordan, he played alongside Kobe Bryant, so with him it was just a different story. Also, I want to end this video with a clip of Kwame Brown where he's giving you his side of the story.
People that don't know me approach me how the media perception is of me. They say perception is reality, which is the dumbest thing in the world. I think a lot of the times people say things that are opinions and they say it as a fact. So many people wanted to be a part of me and wanted to gravitate to me and make up these stories. None of those stories are true because a lot of the media is gossip. Stop acting like you know a person through what someone else is saying. You know, get to know a person yourself. Kwame Brown is a kid that went through a struggle that the average person would die going through. You know, I went from a homeless shelter. I was one of 8 children. So how can you call that kid a loser or that kid unsuccessful when if you put your son in the same situations I was in, or even you probably wouldn't be here. I was in LA, couldn't dunk a basketball, and this video is rotating on YouTube. Mitch Kupchak called me in the office and said, I need you to play. You know, I come from the inner city of Georgia and from the slums. You're paying me $8 million. They shot me up with cortisone, I played. That summer I had ankle reconstructive surgery and shoulder surgery. But the casual fan don't care about that. They just laugh, he couldn't dunk a basketball. I get it now. I get why so many people are jealous. It's not fair to have someone who is 18 and a half, 19-year-old, you know, walk into $12 million while you have to go off to college, and no matter what you say, you can't take that away. When I walk in a room and somebody was a bigger name than me, I have a bit of jealousy as well, but people won't say that. I'm just honest enough to admit it. You know, I'm in the history books. I made history.